Okay, welcome to the final video of Bucky O'Hare and the Toad Menace. If you noticed, one, this is definitely post-commentary, and two, yeah, I think I forgot to record sound while doing this, but I'm not going back. I'm not doing this again. This is a very difficult boss battle, as you can plainly see. Um, yeah, it still took me like 10 tries to finally beat this guy because it's a bullet hell. It's a very classic sort of side-scrolling trope, but definitely not one that I'm particularly good at. Um, I guess I have a problem that I focus too much on the goal, which is shooting the air marshal there, and not so much on the things going around, which is trying to position yourself where you aren't hit. So, too much bravado, not enough care, or that sort of thing. Uh, Definitely requires you to use Bucky at this section because he's the only one with a rear facing weapon. And yeah, you have to kind of take any shot that you can with this with the air marshal, and since he goes from one end to the other, uh, yeah, it's it's a lot of bobbing and weaving, which isn't great. Um, One thing that always sort of feels like you're in a lot of danger is the wall of magma that's right behind you, and apparently that's completely stationary. If you touch it, you die, as we saw in the last video. But yeah, it never increases above that 1/3 mark. So really, all it's done is cut the boss room, which, okay, minus the 1/3 mark of the lava, minus about another 10% with the wall on the upper and lower part, yeah, you've got about 40% of the play space, and I'm not even counting the, um, you know, life bar and score points down at the bottom as part of the play area. Um, but yeah, you've got about 40% of that uh, to play around with, which in a bullet hell like this, where you yeah, have to constantly dodge. This is tricky, very tricky. Um, and yeah, after doing this the last, during that last video, I realized I could not um, talk and do this at the same time. I had to be completely in the zone. Um, of course, we're about 3.5 minutes into what is a um, 8.5 minute boss battle. Um, yeah, it's just mostly going to see me die. If you want to see me actually complete this, just jump up to the 8:25 mark, and you'll see the end of this battle. Well, probably more like the 8:10 mark, because yeah, you're just going to see pretty much the same thing over and over and over again, which I always feel terrible leaving in because it's not particularly good um, cinema, I guess, but at the same time, I guess it shows exactly the process of going through this. And even though I'm being an incredibly cheating bastard using save states, uh, you know what? I don't care. Um, in fact, I was about a hair's breadth away from seeing if I can't put in Game Genie cheats to just turn on invulnerability because, yeah, this section right here is just not quite my forte. It really changes everything. But I guess I should have figured that, considering this is a game from Konami, which, if you know your things like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Konami is always great at making things super difficult for everybody. And here's a point where I decide to pop in a second save state, just because I managed to dodge enough blows. I figured, might as well call this good for a little bit. So from here on out, you'll at least see me starting from a different position rather than all the way at the beginning. But at the same time, you'll see me dropping quite a bit because I'm only at the 6:14 mark of about 8.5 minutes. And yeah, you have to, well, you don't have to, but you definitely should pause before you drop a save state or something like that, but you're never sure what direction you're supposed to be going next. So yeah, typically whenever I do save states, yeah, it's gonna be, I'm probably gonna get hit as soon as the game is unpaused. It's a thing with my bad memory, I guess. Oh well. There goes Bucky again. Don't worry, he'll go through this. Yeah. Now, granted, this is obviously magic fantasy magma behind Air Marshal and Bucky O'Hare, who otherwise would be incinerated by now with a wall of magma behind them. Although technically it's outside of a planet, so it should not be considered magma. It should be considered lava. But we won't discuss that. And yes, the other person there, his name is Air Marshal. I don't know. Maybe the creator of the comic book just had a bad time with an airline police officer, and yeah, decided to start naming his big bad, who's technically a very incompetent person, at least in the comics and the cartoon, Air Marshal, rather than giving him a proper name. And there we go. Managed to beat it. Oh, thank God. Okay, live commentary coming at you now.